Jeff,
Hello, Al.
hey, how you doing, buddy?
I'm doing all right. Doing all right. Looking forward to this, and I appreciate the spot. Absolutely.
I appreciate you coming out. We're gonna have a good time, my friend.
All right.
Good. Let me open up the show and we'll do this.
Okay. And you you
All
you you can actually access my website for the two songs as we're doing this. You're a technical
Sure.
genius if you can, because I couldn't do it.
I got your two songs.
All right. Cool.
All right. Everybody, welcome back to No Cover TV Podcast. That's right. I'm your host, Big Al. And I take that local and national original music scene and shove it in your face. You need to hear it. All genres, all age groups out there. It's amazing the talent and the music that is out there around the world, just not in my home state, Michigan, or the United States. It's everywhere. Everybody is kicking butt, and I appreciate it. And I appreciate you out there checking out the podcast. We've had a lot of great artists on. Got a great show for you today. And please check out the future shows. We are booking into May now, which is incredible. And we're bringing back artists that were on a year ago to see where they're at and what's going on. A lot of great things going on. So I want to thank all of you. You need to get a hold of me if you want to come on the podcast. You can go to Facebook, No Cover TV page there. You can go to the website, nocovertv.live. Email me, nocovertv@yahoo.com. Get a hold of me. If I find you, I got a different set of questions, and it goes a different way sometimes. But it's about the music and about getting you out there. And what I do is I get in the mind of the artist. And it's up to you to get on your platforms, PC, Stone tablets, get to the platforms and check these artists out, please, because you're missing out. Roll down that window, stick your head out, turn that radio down. A lot of great music out there, people. A lot of great music. All right, I can't postpone this. We got to get to today's artist. Gonna have a fun show. I've been laughing. I'm loving this. The Jeff Miller Band is in the house. Jeff, how you doing, brother?
I am doing great and happy to be here, Al. Absolutely.
Thank you. Thank you. You're hailing out of the Wisconsin area.
Green Bay, Wisconsin.
Green Bay.
Born and bred. Well, born in Chicago, but to Green Bay all my life. Absolutely. And is based out of Green Bay, and we are, well, obviously, we're rooting for your Lions at this point.
Well, we got a special show too because Miss Denise is in the house. My wife is sitting at the table.
Very nice.
And it's always fun to have her on because we don't know what direction this show might go. So we're going to have her as a mediator, whatever we call that. So you're doing quite a bit of stuff, and I'm going to tell everybody out there, Jeff Miller Band. Very interesting music. I love it. You dig it. You've got folk, blues, rock, jazz, a little rap in there. It's a little of everything.
Yeah. We're trying to cover all genres, and the band has expanded now to 12-piece band. I
saw that.
Yeah.
Where'd you get everybody?
All Green Bay musicians, certainly, and a little bit from Marinette area. But we kind of started out as I love doing solo work, and going back all the way to starting to play guitar at 5 years old, getting in bands at 12 years old, having a band through junior high school and high school. And, then eventually we moved out to Los Angeles to try and make our, big debut as kids from Green Bay making the big city.
Sure.
And we recorded our first album out there called Just a Thought in 1977.
77.
Yeah, that was our first album. And interestingly enough, way later, 2022, I get a contact from BBE Records in London, England. And they said, hey, we really like that song, the title track of Just a Thought, Just a Thought. We'd like to buy it. And I said, and then we got a compilation disc. And sure enough, in late 2022, it came out on a compilation disc called We Are the Children Under the Sun. And we were featured with 19 other artists on a compilation disc. And I was like, wow, I had never sold a song, truthfully. I'd always put out my own music on my own label called Jewel T Records, which was the original Jewel T van that we had for the band, in high school. And boom, things really, it's interesting because in 2022, it kind of gave me the impetus of saying, wow, if these people think that song is good enough to put on with all these other artists, I should get out there and start selling songs and, obviously producing more music, etc. And it
Yeah.
kind of revived my whole interest in being an artist, a songwriter, singer, etc. But
Amazing.
yeah, we just
That is great. Now I want to go back. Now you say
Yep.
you picked up the guitar at 5 years old.
Yes, I did. My grandmother bought me a acoustic guitar, 5 years old, and I started playing.
You started playing self-taught, no lessons?
Pretty much, yeah, all the way through.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good deal. And a band at 12.
Yeah, it was my first band was at 12 years old, and the interesting story. I had done some shows with the Mickey Dolans from the Monkees, and
Really?
I told him the story that when I was in 6th grade for show and tell, myself and a friend of mine who we played guitar together, we had worked up "I'm Not Your Stepping Stone" on guitar, and sure enough, we go to show and tell, and that was we played the song. And I told Mickey Dolans, I said, I got to be honest with you. When I saw the girls in the front row swaying their feet back and forth to the music, I knew what I wanted to do.
You knew what you wanted to be and do.
And he got a kick out of it too, because he said, you know how many people have told me, my music has influenced whatever. I said, absolutely. But I had, I had the opportunity to tell him that. So
that's beautiful. That's beautiful. All right. So in 77, you produced the song in LA.
Yeah, the full album, Just a Thought, all original.
All original. That's amazing. And now, isn't it around 2013 you started the Jeff Miller Band?
We did, right. I moved back to Green Bay. My father was getting older, and we have a family business here. And I kind of came back to Green Bay. I was working in Minneapolis at Entertainment Services International, booking bands.
Okay.
And before that, I was a promoter in Green Bay. I had my own theater. And people ask me, well, who'd you work with? And I said, well, I'll tell you, I worked 25 years as a promoter learning the business. And I worked with everybody from Liberace to Metallica. Liberace at the end of his career, and Metallica when they were a baby band. And
when they were babies.
Absolutely. A long time ago.
It's fun as a promoter who we get to meet throughout the years.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. And certainly learned a lot watching the professionals, and also had the opportunity. A lot of times I would book a show, and I put myself on with my little band, open shows for Johnny Cash and to Jackson Brown, to Badfinger, to Ozark Mountain Daredevils, the Guess Who, Otis Day. And the fun thing about doing both either solo or a small group, whatever the show is, we can adapt, because again, my music, and I've said this, people say, oh, who do you sound like? I said, well, truthfully, I've tried not to sound like anybody. I've tried to sound like myself, and my style is pretty much runs that blues to jazz to rock. And again, we've now got a hip hop artist that fronts the band. So yeah, from 2013, it started off as a little duo that I had. I moved back to town. Band asked me to open up for them, and I said, sure, great. And I had a little Congo player that we did a little opening. And then a violin player came up and said, hey, I want to jam with you guys. Okay, yeah, join the band. Now we're a 3-piece, keyboard player, 4-piece, steel slide, 5-piece, 6-piece. It just kind of blossomed.
You just added and added until it was full.
Yeah, and the nice thing now is I can tailor any show for any club or venue for the size band that fits that, whether we're opening or headlining, a club or a small venue or a big venue. I have got enough musicians at my beck and call that know my material, and we play, I'd say 80% originals, and we do a fun thing called Money Music Trivia, where we do obscure cover songs, and then we'll ask the audience, and we'll literally put money on, on the mic stand and say, okay, tell us who wrote this next song. We'll go ahead and play the song, and people, guess, and we have other trivia questions, and people seem to really like it, because they go, oh, I never knew that. Like, I'll give you an example. Do you know who actually wrote Mama Told Me Not to Come? I mean, obviously everybody knows Three Dog Night had a big hit with it, and you know,
I don't want to answer that question.
you don't want to answer. Okay.
I plead the fifth.
Okay. It's a Randy Newman. Randy Newman wrote that song.
Did Randy Newman write that?
Yeah. No, and other things like, do you know who wrote The Pusher? Obviously,
No.
Steppenwolf had the hit with it.
Oh,
And
yes. Oh, back in the day. Wow,
Yeah.
we're going back. Wow. That is incredible, the people you've worked with and stuff. Now,
Yeah.
what I like about you is very versatile. You can go and just do an acoustic show by yourself, or you can bring 1, 2, 3 up to 12 people.
Yes, absolutely.
That is amazing. Now, I got a whole page full of things to talk about here. But what I want to touch on here is you just got back from a cool trip.
Yeah.
Europe.
Yeah. I go to Europe normally once or twice a year, and play some dates there. I have a home in Amsterdam and various places that I play in Germany, Belgium, and the Netherlands. I kind of keep it in that area because I can drive to and from from my home in Amsterdam, and I keep a guitar there, and and a family there too. Yeah.
That's pretty cool. Pretty cool. So how many months out of the year are you over in Europe?
I'll go for 6 weeks to 8 weeks twice a year.
Twice a year. Okay.
Yeah.
That's about 4 months out of the year. That's beautiful that you can do that. You get your music out there.
It works good for me. And the last trip I took, I actually manage also 2 acts. One is called the Ragtag Misfits. They're from Liverpool, England.
Nice.
Interesting story about that. Years ago, I formed a band with them, the two people from Liverpool, and I had my drummer from here, Green Bay, and myself, and we called it Helly and the Dazers because Helen Marshman was the lead singer, and that's her nickname. And we went to the Dylan Days. We were on a tour in America with that band. And we went to Hibbing for the Dylan Days celebration, which happens on Bob's birthday, end of May. And sure enough, we won the singer-songwriter contest at Dylan Days. This is about 15 years ago now.
Okay.
And so opportunities like that, because I'm an agent, or I was an agent and a promoter, the different possibilities to take my music there really work out nicely. And
yeah, you had that advantage.
The first song that we're going to play, that Flag Still Flies, a great fun story about that. And whenever you're ready to play it, you let me know, but I'll tell you the story.
Let's tell the story. We'll play the song.
We were doing a Hippie Fest tour on the West Coast with Mitch Ryder and Joey Mullen. And Mitch and I, because I was working at an agency that we booked Mitch Ryder, and we were also part of his management company. Mitch and I, we're coming up on the 5-year anniversary of 9/11. And so this is a while back. Right. And Mitch and I had kind of, we had really gotten quite friendly. Mitch was always calling the agency, and because I was a new agent there, kind of, talking to me, and, kind of, I said, I think, Mitch Ryder, this is great. I'm booking you, etc. And we were talking about 9/11 and said, nobody's really written a song, not specifically about 9/11, but for the anniversary. What do you say we write something? We started writing this song, and we came up with the kind of concept of, that it's not necessarily about 9/11, but yet it's got that underpinning. So we were writing this song, and we're going out on this tour. And I said, hey, Mitch, when we're in LA, I'm going to rent a studio, because Joey Mullen, a friend of mine, his daughter had done a interesting version of No Matter What, and wanted to hire Joey to come in with a band and back her up, which we did. So we hired the studio. Joey comes in with his band. We do the take, and wonderful, great. And I said, afterwards, Mitch, let's do a demo of Flag Still Flies while we're in the studio. So we have a demo, so we can kind of, start doing something with it. Yeah. And we were passing lyrics back and forth, and it was just amazing, even the co-writing experience.
I'm sure.
But the night before we got in the studio, Mitch had rewritten the song one more time. and had added a little bit. And so we went into the studio, and it's a 3-chord song, and I started out playing, the 3 chords, and Mitch starts singing the new lyrics, and I was so taken by the new lyrics, I couldn't play the chords. I was fumbling. And honest to goodness, the true story, and when you hear the song, when you hear the first guitar chords, that's Joey Mullen. Joey Mullen comes into the studio, and he was sitting out, obviously, in the booth, comes in and says, "Give me that guitar." And he had never heard the song. He just heard me fumbling the beginning of the chords, and he literally took the guitar from me, and Mitch was, at the microphone ready, and he started playing the chords, and we recorded that, and that's the actual backing track on this recording that you're about to hear of Flag Still Flies.
Okay. And I'm taking that song off Spotify.
Okay.
All right. We're going to play it off Spotify. So everybody in podcast land, join us, because I'm going to play Flag Still Flies. So let's play this. All right, Jeff?
This is Mitch Ryder singing, me playing guitar, Joey Mullen playing guitar, and Helen Marshman on backup vocals as well.
All right. Here we go. Let's play it, and we'll come back.
I see my family's got its ups and downs. Trust and safety's got its lost and found. Allow my blind faith passed down along the way. What once was happiness grows stranger by the day. Mothers, soldiers, and babies, the honest and the pure. Mothers, soldiers, and babies, we couldn't ask for more. Sometimes my life is like the flag that I fly. Beautifully simple, it's a case of do or die. Beat, beat my heart, beat the drum until it screams. My soul will last just as long as my dreams. Yeah, my soldiers and babies, the beginning and the end. Mothers, soldiers, and babies, patriotically defend. I believe that humans make their own destiny. No discounted shortcuts on the price to be free. A light and way of life that shines from sea to sea. The hardest sacrifice we'll ever be. Mothers, soldiers, and babies, the silent and the brave. Mothers, soldiers, and babies, standing at the grave. Stand up, warriors, stand up for God. Kneel to your father as he slowly nods. But take no credit, defeat, or victory. 'Cause when the smoke clears, here's what you'll see. Mothers, soldiers, and babies, the heavenly home. More than fathers, sons and Holy Ghost. Raise your flag, raise your flag, raise your flag, raise your
All right, Jeff, you there?
Yep, I am.
All right, that was great.
Thank you, thank you. And again, I got to give credit. There's Michael Grande on bass from Ozark Mountain Daredevils, Matt Fink from Prince's band on keyboards, Barry Goldberg from Paul Butterfield Blues Band, and Bob Dylan and a bunch of people on also organ, and a lot of musicians that helped me with my second album, which is the Alias Smith and Jones album, which that cut is on.
That's amazing.
Yeah, I had because of my contacts with them and promoting a lot of these people, they were nice enough to literally come on and back me up on a lot of these songs that are on that particular album. And that's my second album.
That's really cool. That's really cool. Let's to get into the next song. I want to talk about Love Construction Zone.
All right.
Let's tell me about this song.
Another interesting, I'll tell you how it, where the first of all, it's a Tony Brown song. He wrote
Yeah,
this
see
song.
that. Yeah.
And in 1975, when I was going to Madison for college, my freshman year of college, I had booked some bands for my high school from a talent agency called Macmillan Clary Talent. And they were kind of the holdover hippie Madison booking agency. And at the time, I was literally booking Cheap Trick. Literally was a bar band at that time.
Right.
I was literally booking Cheap Trick before Robin Zander joined the band. And then when Robin joined the band, they actually asked me to be their booking agent in-house for their management company, because the management company was located in Madison at the time. And
Okay.
I had to pass because I said, these guys gave me this job out of high school and I'm going to stick with this booking agency. And we were booking, like I said, Cheap Trick, Yipes, Circus, Tongue, Punch,
Wow.
a whole plethora of Madison or Midwest-based bands, and I was loving it. And one of the acts that I was booking was Tony Brown Band at the time.
Okay.
And Tony and I became fast friends, number one, and musical kind of compatriots. And we did, just really hit it off right from 1975. We have been best friends and musical compatriots all along, all since. And literally I'd say about a year ago, Tony calls me up. He said, "You know what? I had a dream." I said, "Okay, tell me, Tony, what, and you were in it." I said, "Oh, I'm worried."
No.
But
Look
anyway,
out.
he said, "I wrote this song called Love Construction Zone. And the dream was, I dreamed you were singing the song." I said, "Okay."
Right.
And he said, "I want you to sing this song." I said, "Tony, I'm happy to give it a try, but I'm nowhere near the singer you are and nowhere near the style you are, etc." But, sure. So we booked a studio. We booked a couple of dates up here in the Midwest. And basically we rented a studio in Sturgeon Bay, Studio 330, which is run by Hans Christian, who, by coincidence, I'm going next week to the Grammys with him because he's nominated for Album of the Year.
Sweet.
So long story short, we get in the studio, and obviously Tony had sent me a demo copy of the song, him doing it. And I said, "Well, I'll give it my best shot. I'll try." We went in. We hired a couple of different people, Jamie Clark on drums, and Deidre Felder on background vocals. And obviously Tony sang, I played guitar, and then I sang the lead vocal on this. And we added a little bit of this, a little bit of that. Tony produced it. Hans recorded it for us. And I was tickled pink that he even thought of me. But like I say, he said literally, and I believe him. Tony, and Tony and I, like I say, we have long standing. When he said, I dreamed of you singing this song. We were in my dream. I'm going,
That's weird.
Then it's got to be. And he said, I think you could have a nice hit with this. And I said, well, I in my whole career as a singer, songwriter, performer, etc., I've never really aspired to be the, rock star guy versus, like I say, when this company in London really thought that my song was well worth putting on this compilation disc, I kind of changed my opinion. I said, you know what? I've got the 50 songs that I recorded, and I've got another couple hundred, in the bin there, so to speak.
Nice.
And I said, you know what? I'm going to start marketing my songs and maybe other people, but I never really thought about covering somebody else's song. But when Tony asked me to do something, number one, it's for my own good. I know that, and so we produced this song, and it's Love Construction Zone, and then. Well, the song itself speaks for itself. It's kind of a sassy little song that
it's pretty cool. Now I'm going to do a little trick here because we've only got about 15 minutes left, and I got a lot to talk with you about.
Okay.
So I'm going to split this into 2 shows.
Okay.
So what I'm going to do, and everybody on podcast land, you're not going to miss a beat, but I'm going to resend you a link that gives us more time.
Okay.
So. It's we're at 27 minutes, people. I'm going to get right back with Jeff from the Jeff Miller Band, and we're going to get right to Love Construction Zone. I can't wait for you to hear this, people, and we got a lot more to talk about. So I want to give Jeff more time. How's that sound, Jeff?
Sounds good to me.
All right. Well, let's get out here, and we'll be right back. I'm going to send you a link, all right?
Okay.
Okay, bye.
Age.
Hey, we're back with Jeff.
I'm here.
You're here. Good deal. So we're back with Jeff from the Jeff Miller Band. I wanted to extend this a little bit because we got a lot to talk about. Jeff is an amazing artist, amazing music, has worked with some wonderful, wonderful people in the business, as you've heard in the past 27 minutes. It has been exactly. But we got a song for you. We just talked about it. Love Construction Zone. You ready for this, Jeff?
A Tony Brown original and sung in the best possible way by Jeff Miller.
Great. All right, let's do this. Let me hit it. Hopefully we don't get commercials. All right, here we go. Love Construction Zone. And we hit that. Here we go.
I'm feeling your sweetness from my head to my dome. Love is simple and cool, can't leave your love alone. There's caution signs ahead, go down in this zone. But the heat is running way too deep, current way too strong. Whoa, 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 whoa. Whoa, 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 whoa. You whisper in my ear like you're talking on the phone. A voice inside me says, slow down in the construction zone. Another voice says, lights on, let's head on home. Your love is pulsing through me, felt in all my bones. I want your love, baby. I need your love, baby. Now the zone was clear, the road was ready. You whispered in my ear, baby, baby, signs, no bright lights blinking. Time to take it home and do some body thinking. Whoa, 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 I want your love, baby. I need your love, baby. We took the final turn down that one-way street. Pulled into the drive, feeling oh so sweet. Now that feeling fine, we're back at home. Let's slide down into our love construction zone. Whoa, 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 I want your love, baby. I need your love, baby. Whoa, 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 whoa,
Oh yeah, Jeff, that was amazing.
That's the love construction zone. Everybody's got one, and you got to go there when it's there. Yeah, absolutely.
Oh,
You got to build
that's
that.
smooth. That's a smooth song, my friend. Ah, yes, indeed. You with me, Jeff?
I am absolutely.
No, that was great.
Thank you. I
All
appreciate it.
that.
Yeah, it was a pleasure doing it too. I mean, I really enjoyed the fact that, Tony kind of put it as a challenge. You could sing this, you could do this. I said, okay.
And you did it.
and it came out very nice. And that's kind of my recent release at this point. And I wanted to jump back because again, you being from Michigan, you'll appreciate this story. Going back when I was a freshman in college and working at this booking agency, they used to occasionally they would promote a concert. And again, I had produced my own band, as far as live shows, and I had produced a couple of little concerts in the auditorium in my high school, but they said,
Sure.
we're going to do a concert at the Capitol Theater right on State Street in Madison. And we'd like you to produce the show. You can stage manage the show. I said, well, first of all, I've never done it, but yeah, sure. I'll give it a try. And I said, who we bringing in? I said, oh, it's just a 4-band show. It's going to be Ted Nugent and the Amboy Dukes. That's the Michigan connection, obviously.
Yes,
and then I'll tell you the story from that. Styx, Head East, and a local band called Punch, which I was the booking agent for. So we made we were the booking agent. So sure enough, I take it on, and I didn't know what I was really doing, but I somehow I got through it. And the end of the story is, we get through the first 3 acts and you get through sound checks and everything, and everybody's okay, great. First 3 acts go on, and now it's time for Ted Nugent, and all set. And I'm standing on the side, and I'm kind of going, oh, I made it, and all of a sudden the lights go down, and it's time for the Amboy Dukes to come out. And I see out of the corner of my eye something flying over the amplifier stacks. And of course, Ted, or the road manager, nobody told me this was going to happen, but they had a ladder that went up, to the back of the stacks. And Ted goes up the ladder with his guitar and jumps off the stack and comes down on the front. I nearly had a heart attack. I mean, like, oh my God, first show I produced, the headline act, I don't know, crashes into the stack. I didn't know what, Anyway,
Right.
fun
Oh,
stories
he's crazy.
from the beginning. Absolutely. With Ted and,
Oh, yeah. Ted was great. I got to hang out with him in '94.
okay.
Yeah, that was a good time.
Yeah. Good.
Very interesting character.
Absolutely. Yeah. Good friend of mine from Green Bay, actually, who I started in the business, a kid named Dean Mitchell, who's now not a kid anymore. He was Ted's guitar tech for, many years, traveled the world with
Oh,
him, and
that's great.
has some really great stories, none of which I could, elaborate here at this
Yeah,
one.
right. Quiet.
Other than the one story that he told me where Ted had the Buffalo on tour with him, and they're at the
Oh,
House of Blues in Chicago, and anybody who's ever played the House of Blues knows there's an elevator that from the load in, and you come up in a big elevator, and sure enough, they're in the elevator with the buffalo, and the guy who's running the elevator, the buffalo's like right there, and he's like, and Dean and Ted are, and he goes, "Oh, don't worry, buffalo's tame." He's not,
yeah, right.
and sure enough, Ted comes out on the buffalo, and nobody got killed.
No, oh gosh.
So anyway, I'll turn it back to you. You got the questions. I'm all yours.
Yes, I got questions. All right, we got some fun questions. We got some basic questions. Let's hit the one side to the other. All right, you've been doing this a long time. How many CDs do we got out?
My third CD was a CD called Songs for Sylvia, which I wrote in about 2006, put out. That was for my fiance at the time. I literally wrote an entire CD, song by song, sending it to her to convince her that she should be with me. And truthfully, by about the 12th song or so, she was either getting annoyed or enamored, one of the two. And I produced this CD in Phil Solemn's personal studio in Minneapolis. And I literally got to the point where I said, "You know what, Phil? You've been doing all this production for me, and I've been sending these great songs, and all orchestrated, and pretty as being as romantic as I could, and all about our relationship and how it was growing, and etc.
Right.
And I want you to be my wife, and da da da." I said, "You know what? Here's my cell phone. I just got this little acoustic guitar. I'm going to play this song called Fate's Love, and it says it all. And it's just going to be like, this is the last song I'm sending you, and you're either going to say yes or no." I'm putting it all on the line, and that's on the original version of that is on Songs for Sylvia. So that was my third album.
All right.
And now I'm working on two new projects. One is Joey Mullen and Phil Solemn and I are, besides huge Chuck Berry fans,
I see that.
all very influenced by him, obviously. And I worked with Chuck as a promoter, and Joey worked with him as a musician, and Phil, et cetera. We all had our own stories with Chuck, and then we had at one time, Joey, Phil, and I were all living in Minneapolis, and we were doing things together. We formed a little group between Joey and Phil called the Driftbenders, where they would back up each other on their hits, and then I was the opening act, and it was all acoustic. It was wonderful. We did tours together, just the three of us in a van, just going around. And
that's fun.
And we always had talked about and said, "Oh, we really should do a Chuck Berry tribute," And I said, "We're going to do it. We're going to do it." And it took us literally 10 years. Phil moved down to Nashville, and I said, "Joey, come on, we're going down to Nashville." There was another awards banquet that Hans Christian was getting an award there in Nashville. So I said, "We're going down. We're bringing Hans with us. He'll do some production on it." And we literally knocked out our 12 favorite Chuck Berry songs. And
wow, nice.
we kind of divided up, and I did, let's say my 4 favorite Chuck Berry songs that I do, and we did it our own styles. It's not a representation of Chuck in terms of doing it like the recordings. It was our interpretation, but the song, and it is coming out great. I'd say 90% done with it. Phil is going to mix and master it. And when it comes out, I think it's just going to be tremendous. We're very excited about it. But
I can't wait to hear it.
And we're calling it That's What Chuck Said. That's the name of the album. 12,
That's great.
12 choice berries is the tagline. So that's in the works. That's coming soon. And then as a kind of a swan song for me, I'm using Hans Christian as a producer, and I've got a gentleman out of Chicago who's going to do the video end of this. I'm creating a DVD that I'm calling A Look Back From Here, that is kind of taking some of my songs from the early days, mid days, and current days, and then I've written like 4 new songs that will be on this DVD. And like I say, we're calling it A Look Back From Here, kind of looking at my songwriting career. And now with my new band, I've gone into a video and a sound studio here in Green Bay, and we re-recorded obviously songs from the first album, the second album, the third album onto this, and then recorded new songs in Hans's studio in Sturgeon Bay. And I'm real excited about that. I probably got another year worth of work, mainly in the video end of it, because I've never had the opportunity to take a song of mine and make a music video other than obviously just showing the band playing it live. And that's not what this is going to be. Each song is going to have the video conception of what the song is about, with intercuts of the band playing it, obviously, the instrumentation and studio looks, but more, like I say, it's kind of freed me up to be the conceptual video artist that I never was, or never had the chance to do.
Well, that's cool. That's going to be great moving into the video and doing that. And I can't wait to see the releases.
Yeah,
I can't wait. So
we've got Bill Yeoman Productions out of Chicago is handling the video for me, which is great, because I'm lucky if I can turn on a camcorder. The best videos I make is with my iPhone, which is just put it on, and I've done some things where I posted these on my website, thejeffmillerband.com, where I literally take my phone, put it on record, and put it on the ground, and I call them crotch shots. You just see me playing, and you're kind of looking, upwards at me, and hey, that's my extent of video.
All right, I want to get to some fun questions here. So we got 15 minutes.
Okay,
all right,
shoot.
Now, you played with some amazing people. You worked with some amazing people. It's kind of hard. This question, I don't even know where to go with this one, but I'm going to ask it.
Go ahead.
2 people, dead or alive, anyone in the world, who would you want to play with?
Well, I'll go to Chuck Berry first. Both.
All right.
Only because when I was about 17 years old, a senior in high school, Chuck Berry came to Green Bay. And of course, we were, we had our band, and we played Chuck Berry in our band, in high school, etc. So of course, we're going to the show. We're right up front, and honest to goodness, midway in the show, Chuck says, "Hey, anybody want to come up and dance?" And of course,
really?
I jump up, and now I find myself air guitaring right next to Chuck Berry, and he's looking at me, I'm looking at him, and I'm like, I'm in heaven. I'm, here's the guy I want to play with him. And I was, technically, I was on stage, and he was very gracious, except at the end when I said, can I stay up and play, or can I stay up there? He goes, no, thanks.
Get off the stage.
Get off the stage. One song. So Chuck Berry would be one, and I'll tell you who I have played with, and he's still living, obviously, and that's Joey Mullen. When I was booking his band, and my band opened some shows for Badfinger, and we got to know each other, and then he started recording some of my songs, And that led us to the Chuck Berry where we're tribute where we're playing together. It is both Phil and Joey are kind of on the same level. Both are, I mean, they're hugely more talented than me, number one, and hugely, obviously, they got hits galore, etc.
Yeah.
And it has been just in my career the best experience I've had with rock stars and musicians that I've dealt with. And then I'll tell you one other really fantastic story. Tony Brown, I was going to Jamaica with my girlfriend. First time I'd been to Jamaica, and Tony had been hung out with Bob Marley and played with. He was very familiar with all the musicians, etc. in Jamaica. And when I told him I was going to Jamaica at the time, he actually was living here in Green Bay with me, and we were doing music together, etc. And this was 25 years ago. Bob Marley had passed away. Bob Marley was not. But he said, "Oh, when you're in Jamaica, I'll make arrangements for you to meet Earl Chinna Smith, who was Bob Marley's lead guitar player in the in the heyday." And I said, "Wonderful, great." Oh, okay. So I go to Jamaica. We go to Kingston. We go to High Times record store, which Chinna owns and operates. And he says, "Come on." And I told Tony to tell him I was going to bring a tape of a few of my songs just for him to listen to, nothing. And sure enough, we go over to his house. He's got a stereo system. He puts on the tape. He listens to the 2-3 songs, whatever was on there. Nice, nice. And he says to me, "You have more, man." I go, "More songs?" "Oh, yeah." And he said, "Okay, hold on." And he goes in the back, into another room, and he comes out with 2 acoustic guitars, and he hands me an acoustic guitar, and it's a black-faced Fender acoustic guitar. Wonderful. And we literally sat for about 3 hours. I played him every song I'd ever written that I knew. And he's playing these leads, and I'm listening, and I'm going, "Oh my God,"
Can't believe it.
And again, 99% of it was original music. He had never heard it, but this is Earl Chinna Smith. It was no problem.
Yeah.
And so at the end, we've got to leave. Thank you very much. It was a wonderful experience. Playing with him, etc. And sure enough, about a month later, I'm back in the States, and I'm in a record store now. I'm going through Bob Marley's records, etc., looking on the album. Oh, there's Chinna on that album. Oh, Chinna, And I come across a bootleg Bob Marley album, and he's there, and in his hand is a blackface Fender acoustic guitar. I go, the cosmos was like opened up. I go, "Oh my God!" I was playing Bob's. Obviously, however it got to Chinna, it's not. I don't know, but it was. So those are the 3 musicians that and Chinna's still alive at this point. So
that's amazing right there. Wow. Now this question here, I love to get the answer from. And we've got 10 minutes or 12 minutes. But anyways, this question right here. Now you've done a lot of shows all over the world. Okay. When you get on stage, you get geared up, you start the music, whether it's by yourself or with the whole band itself, and you start jamming, and everybody starts moving, dancing, possibly singing your songs, bounces back to you and hits your heart. How does it make that heart feel?
Good. To tell you the truth, I enjoy the fact that, like I say, the audience reaction is certainly stimulating. But as I said, when I do this money music trivia thing, and obviously people like winning money, but that's not the point. People have really said to me, that's really a cool thing that you do, because it made me think about, again, the songwriter, maybe the story behind the song or whatever the trivia question is. And it makes it go beyond just enjoying listening to that music. It's knowing, somebody wrote it, somebody produced it, what the storyline is about, something about it made it dimensional on the songs. And they said, and obviously when we pick the songs for the trivia questions, we pick somewhat obscure songs or somewhat very popular, well-known songs. that people don't understand, like the Monkees, some of the like Neil Sedaka and the different guys that wrote their songs for them. Not Neil Sedaka, anyway, that other people wrote those songs, and they might be famous people as well. So the reaction I get is very nice to hear from that level that they're thinking.
That is.
Yeah, and also again, because my songs, when you hear them, I hope they don't sound exactly like somebody else, and I'm not trying to emulate somebody else to sound like anybody. That people go, oh yeah, you have very unique sound. Whether they like it or not, that's up to them. But they say, yeah,
Right.
you don't sound like you're not copying anybody else in that sense.
Well, your music is very versatile. I love it.
I appreciate
Yes,
that. Al.
indeed.
I
Yes,
appreciate it.
So let's move on to the next question. This should be a quickie. Well, I got two actually. I like
Okay.
this one here. You've been on stage quite a bit, doing quite a bit of things. This usually happens to an artist sometime in their career. Any embarrassing moments? Fall over your guitar, chord, drums, microphone smack you?
I've been, I think, pretty lucky. Nothing like that. Joey Mullen told me a story one time when he got electrocuted on stage, and literally,
that's nothing.
back in the I will tell you one of the most unique performances that I did, and this is when we debuted "Flag Still Flies," which you heard.
Right.
When I was booking Mitch, we had the opportunity to open up for Levon Helm at his Midnight Rambles in Woodstock at his studio. And I booked the band to Levon and for that. And I told them, Mitch and I wrote this song together, and we're going to debut it there. So I literally got up and played the song with Mitch and his band for Levon in the studio, and that was wonderful. That was a wonderful experience, and people were like, "Oh, great song," blah blah blah. And then, of course, Levon would come on next with his band in the studio. And part of the deal is that when you open the show, Mitch was then invited to close the show with Levon. They do the wait at the end, and so the opening act gets the opportunity to do that. And so we did our show, and Mitch wasn't he had a little bit of a back problem, and he said, you know what, take me back to the hotel, tell Levon if he wants, you can go up and play the wait. And I'm like, whoa. Hey. And sure enough, that's exactly what happened. And I was, I think, so over the moon that I was on there with Levon, and right before the song came on, and at that time, Levon had just had a bout with throat cancer, and he could not sing. So Rodney Crowell was there and was the kind of lead singer for Levon in his part of the show, as well as his daughter and some of the other band members. Okay. And I kind of came up, and I came up to the microphone, and I said, first of all, Mitch Ryder appreciates so much being here, the invitation. He wasn't feeling real well. He went back to the hotel, and I'm sitting in for Mitch. I'm kind of substituting. And Levon gave me this look and kind of did a hand over heart. And I said, both Mitch and yourself, I hope you both have good health so you can play together in the future. And it was just an emotional, wonderful thing. And then, of course, we did the song, and I'm just screaming, I'm singing along. Yeah. So that was really the most wonderful performance. But luckily, I have never really had
an experience like that.
I never fell off the stage.
You are a lucky one. You are one of the lucky ones. That is great. Everybody at Podcast Land, you got to check out the Jeff Miller Band. I'm on Spotify. What other platforms can they find you on?
The jeffmillerband.com is my website, and that has all the connections to right now we're on Digicog for release of the albums, and you can also buy them directly through my store. I've got all the merchandise and all those things. So pretty much every platform I'm available on.
Good deal. Jeff, it's been amazing talking to you, my friend, and we have to do this very soon again because I have a lot more questions.
I'm available to you anytime, Al. Anytime.
Because we're running out of time, unfortunately, because we could go on and on. Oh, I got a lot to talk about with you. But
Well,
everybody
I
else,
think I did warn you that I am a talker too. You know,
it's your show, man.
It goes back to being an agent. You know, on the
Right.
phone. Yeah,
That's great. We got to hang out, man. We're neighbors. We can hang out.
absolutely. We're not far away.
Not at all. So everybody out podcast land, you check out the Jeff Miller Band here in Wisconsin. And do you play out much at all in Wisconsin?
Oh, sure. Yeah, but I avoid now at my age and in my experience playing in the winter in the Midwest. You're just going out and I mean, I can remember dates in high school when we were playing in Wisconsin. And one time we were coming home from, I think, Eau Claire or Wausau, and it was a snowstorm, and of course the windshield had frozen up, and blah blah, and my head is out the window in the snow, driving that. I'm like, only when you're 17 years old do you do something that goofy, so.
Now we have
to tell you the truth, that this winter I'm actually focusing on doing podcasts, from the warmth and comfort of my couch kind of thing. I'll play a few dates in Green Bay locally, but nothing. And my next really outing is in April. Tony Brown is getting inducted into the Rock and Roll Blues Iowa Blues Hall of Fame. About April 7th. So we're going to do a series of dates before and after where he's going to do some shows and I'll be the opening act, and we'll go out and do it by April. It should be thawed out in Iowa.
That's great.
Yeah.
Amazing, Jeff. You are an amazing musician and artist. It was a pleasure
to
talk.
I appreciate it very much.
We're going to stay in touch.
You just let me know. You got an open date or open time slot you need filled. You got my number.
I got your number. We're going to stay in touch, my friend. And I can't wait to see what else you put out.
All right.
Yes. So it's your show. Wrap it up. Say goodbye to everybody in podcast land, my friend.
Thank you. Yeah, absolutely. And again, I wish you nothing but success on this. And it looks like you're just a happening guy. And that's where I like to be too. Like to deal with people. And again, very professional, very, and that's a compliment coming from a long line of working with professional people. You know when you're working with pros, and you know when you're not, and you're a pro.
Appreciate that very much, Jeff. That makes my heart big. Thank you.
You bet.
Thank you, my friend.
Thank you.
So we're going to get out of here, everybody. Check out the future shows, the past shows. They support your local and national music scene out there. Please, because don't make me come and make you. Please.
And I think he will too. You don't listen up, he'll come and turn on your radio for you.
I will come through. So anyway, check out the shows. Thank you, Jeff, and the Jeff Miller Band for gracing the show today. Thank you. I will talk to you soon.
You bet.
All right. Okay. Bye-bye. See you, everybody. Peace.